Danielle Smith campaigned in part on promises to stand up to Ottawa, and in her victory speech, she doubled down on that, challenging policies from the Trudeau government that she says will hurt Alberta's energy industry. So let's bring in Janice McGregor in Ottawa as she takes a look at this relationship. We'll be watching certainly to how the Prime Minister responds, Ottawa responds to that UCP win. How do you think federally they might react?
It will be interesting to hear this morning what some of the early signals are. Interesting, Heather, of course, Danielle Smith carrying on really a fine tradition in Alberta politics, even provincial politics generally in this country, of campaigning simultaneously against the opposition NDP, but also against the federal government here in Ottawa. Justin Trudeau's Liberals very familiar with this kind of a playbook by now, and incoming Alberta Premier again keen to portray her province as the victim of unfair federal policies. And in her victory speech last night, we did see Danielle Smith wind up and take another pretty hard swing at the federal government. Take a listen.
Prime Minister is already ready to introduce a de facto production cap on our oil and gas sector that, if implemented, will result in tens of thousands of jobs lost, tens of billions in lost investment, damage our province's fiscal position, and bring economic hardship to Albertans.
So, over to you, Ottawa. What do you have to say to that? It's interesting. What might be a bit of strategic counter-programming or counter-messaging, Natural Resources Minister Jonathan Wilkinson is going to be out today with federal and provincial ministers from Nova Scotia and Newfoundland and Labrador, actually, to unveil some new legislation that's expected to help those Atlantic provinces make the economic transition, adjust fiscally to cleaner sources of energy. And again, federally, because opposition leader Pierre Poilievre strongly endorsed Danielle Smith in this provincial election campaign, he may have a stake now in how she performs. Last night in the House, there was a bit of a bear pit session with Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland, an opportunity for MPs to question her on many aspects of the finance minister's spending and tax policies. And Poilievre took some pretty hard shots against the Liberals' climate policies, the cost of the federal carbon tax. And Freeland gave as good as she got, firing back that federal Conservatives don't have a credible or a consistent climate plan. You saw those pictures of the forest fire season this spring. It is a time when the need to respond to climate change very much top of mind for people. Lining up too closely to an Alberta government that's very strong in its support for the fossil fuel industry, that is something that may not get federal Conservatives elected in the places that they need to in order to form government.
Janice, thank you very much.